Now then, hello everyone, and welcome to a random, weird, stream here. Well, oh god, I have not done an intro for so long. Let me start here. Hey everyone, welcome to Dagon, or Dagon, I think it's pronounced Dagon, I'm not sure. Which is an HP Lovecraftian game that's free on Steam, so if this game looks interesting, you can go to Steam, just search up Dagon and it's there for free. There is some DLC that costs, but this is a free thing and I was a little bit late to the horror stuff, but it's never too late for HP Lovecraft. And yeah. This is probably gonna be a shorter stream. Sorry. So yeah, this is probably gonna be a shorter stream. Because I think this game is around 30 minutes or something. I just wanted something here, you know. I love this game, I have been wanting this game. And it's 6 in the morning at my place, here in Sweden, so it's 4 minutes over 6, so why not start the morning with some horror. Anyways, let's start. Dagon is a faithful, interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequence, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with a plot.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey, others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. So I assume it's right click. You can also access all the found facts later. They will be available in the main menu.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Can I?
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Can I Morphine. Morphine entered into use in the 19th century, as was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, and World War I, 1940 to 1918. 1914 to 1918, there, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. I hope I can be heard. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Friedrich Serturne, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. I'm learning stuff. But yeah, I do hope I am currently like you can hear me properly. I am gonna just real quickly do a thing. There, there, and there, and there. Sure. There we go. Okay, now let's.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Yes. Okay. Dagon was written. Yeah, well, I did a short stream a little while back explaining how things are. I'm gonna be doing back and forth. I can't have a regular schedule right now, so yeah. But hey, Spedox, how has it been? Hope everything is alright and stuff is going well. Yeah. Now let's see. Dagon was written around a month. I'm good. I'm actually solid. After the United States entered World War I, Lovecraft was actively interested in its course. He composed many poems in which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on the events unfolding in Europe. But yeah, I'm good. Like, better than I was a little while ago. Not totally, like, mentally 100, because if I was, I would probably do more frequent streams like I used to, but I'm better, to say at least. Like, I am in a better headspace. He tried to enlist in the army, which he mentions in one of the letters to Reinhard Kleiner. Some time ago, impressed by my entire uselessness in the world, I resolved to attempt enlistment despite my almost invalid condition. I argued that if I chose a regiment soon to depart for France, my sheer nervous force, which is not inconsiderable, might sustain me till a bullet or piece of shrapnel could more conclusively and effectively dispose of me. Letters to Reinhard Kleiner, H.P. Lovecraft. But even though he passed the physical exam, his mother prevented him from going to the war. She has threatened to go to any lengths, legal or otherwise, if I do not reveal all the ills which unfit me for the army. I am Providence, the life and times of H.P. Lovecraft, S.T. Yoshi. Yoshi. Okay.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
Don't want to miss anything. Apparently we can find some more flavor text around here, so I don't... It currently doesn't seem like there's any more flavor text, so...
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Oh wait. The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a domination in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans, in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on 27th of July in the 1900s, before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls in your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. The refusal to take prisoner was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the first Hague Convention of 1899. I'm sorry if my fucking reading is total yerk. Like total yerkwads, but I'm trying. I'm sorry if it's not exactly the most beautiful of reading, but this is an H.P. Lovecraft thing, and I love H.P. Lovecraft so much. Like, I know he's getting a shit, he has gotten shit and stuff, but like, I just love H.P. Lovecraft so much.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
But how though? This game is kinda beautiful, to be honest. Like, even though we don't have, you know, a lot of stuff showing, and like it's kind of minimalistic, it's fucking beautiful. I'm such a nerd. Do we have that special symbol somewhere? Does not seem like it. I do hope we'll get to see some Cthulhu though. I really hope that. Or
when I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
And like I said before, for those who may see this like, why is it so short? This is a version. Yes, it's me. Hello there, Fuel. How are ya?
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Fair enough.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Ooh, Greedfall. I actually have. I'm gonna do a quick search here. Oh god, yeah. Before my PlayStation Plus said bye-bye because no money, I actually got, it was one of the free games you got on PlayStation Plus, so I have actually played a little bit of it on my PlayStation. Kind of fun. Never played a lot, but it seems like quite a fun game actually. Okay. Do we have... Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that in the last one too. Even though it's like unbelievable because everybody knows the PlayStation 5 is still a mystery. It's still a myth to those who don't have one. Okay, let's...
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
So water. Any symbols in the sky? Doesn't seem like it. Ah! The return to short stories. Yes, the figment of my imagination. Dagon was written in July 1917 and first published in 1919 in the Vagrant, an amateur magazine focused on the supernatural. The story is the first of his stories that introduced an element from the Cthulhu mythos, Dagon itself. A pagan cult worshipping Dagon later appears in the shadow over Innsmouth. Oh wait, the first story is Dagon itself. A pagan cult worshipping Dagon later appears in the shadow over Innsmouth. There, I think that's more correct. One of Lovecraft's most popular works. Shadow over Innsmouth I have not read, but I have heard. The movie is actually kind of solid. This is a free game on Steam, so if it seems like this is the free portion, then you can buy like some DLC. Like, it's not expensive, but I don't have money, so I can't. But like, yeah, so this is a very cool free, like, I love H.P. Lovecraft, so I'm definitely, when I get money again, I'm definitely gonna like buy the rest. 1917 is also the year when he wrote The Tomb, a story about Gervas Dudley, a daydreamer who discovers a mysterious mausoleum in the woods by his house and becomes obsessed with it. These two works marked Lovecraft's return to short story writing after he burned most of his attempts at the genre 9 years prior and decided to concentrate on poetry. Lovecraft stated that it was his friend William Paul Cook, a literary publisher and critic, who convinced him to start writing weird fiction again. So happy, he continued, because oh my god, I am such a nerd for H.P. Lovecraft.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
The sounds, all of it.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Oh, the sounds, I love them.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Okay, we need to find the like for real. There has to be like some type of little secret around here that I am not gonna miss. Like, I really don't want to miss anything right now. But oh my god, these sounds. Oh. Yes! Okay, the Origins of Dagon. I would have been upset if I missed that. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature, H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean, and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that whole hideous crawl, and yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells. In his own words, I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. But I cannot recall what earlier experiences gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dweller in Darkness, Lovecraft, 1927, Donald Wandrey. Okay, so Dagon is basically based upon another novel that I haven't read or heard about. I know about H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know exactly everything about him or what he got his inspiration from, but kind of fun to know this little fish fact that he's always hated the ocean, but he don't know why, so that's kind of awesome. I like that a lot. That was kind of nasty.
The stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Yeah, this is, I guess, text-based adventure. As I crawled into the borders, the one theory could explain my position.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
I mean, wouldn't you have woken up if you felt the fucking earth under you starting to shake? Even if that earth was underwater, I think you would have known and woken up.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
I'm gonna be honest. I think you would still notice that. And what is that blob? I just realized we have a blob there. Like, I can see the octopus and the squids and the fish and whatever the hell that is. But what is that?
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
This though? Oh. The mystery of Volcanic Islands. Okay, and maybe I will get an explanation. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice, porous rock created when superheated pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano, can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcanic near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. Holy fuck! I don't know my geography that much, but that's... yeah. That sounds like that's quite a journey. Because Australia is way away from legit anything. Like, no matter where it is. Australia is just far away from everything. That's cool, that's cool. still that blob. I'm so...
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Oh, God, this game is still so beautiful. Like, for real, this game is very beautiful. Okay, so we have that. Do we have any more of the... I could just spam click everywhere, but that feels like that would be a little bit annoying. Nothing in the stars? No? I know. I probably have missed some things, so let's just spam click a little. Okay, it doesn't seem like there is anything, so... Okay, now, okay.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Can I oh yeah, I don't think I can actually walk. I think it's like a point and click thing.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Or wait. Okay, now. Okay, let's go. Okay, so it's a point and click adventure, so...
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What the fuck is that? And what the absolute fuck is any of this? Like, okay, there's definitely not gonna be anything in the sky, I think. But yeah, what the fuck is that? And that, like... What is anything around here, to be honest? God damn. Okay, so obviously we're going over there. Just once again, checking. Oh god, that looks fucking hot. Seems like nothing. So let's continue. Okay, so let's... Oh! Whale! Whale! Are these like giant crabs or whatever? Like... What the crab? Or what the crab? I don't think I'm seeing any... Like... That's the thing here, like... I don't want to miss anything, but if I do, I'm sorry. It's a short game anyway, so... May do more later, I'm not gonna promise anything, but if I had...
I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
What is this? What the fuck is that? Like, for real though? The horrors in the ocean. Oh no, the horrors of the ocean. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of R'lyeh was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today, we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean surface, in never-ending darkness at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, and the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. That's fair. Like, yeah, Lovecraft probably did never see a deep sea fish, yet he legit explains deep sea fish in most of his work. Like, especially with the more like Dagon, Cthulhu, Shadow over Innsmouth, those. Even though Shadow over Innsmouth and Dagon is technically as the same thing, it's just like, I guess Shadow over Innsmouth is the beginning, and then Dagon is like what could have happened after. Or, I don't know the exact thing, but it's very interesting though. Like, that's actually very interesting to think about. This game is just a fucking story game, like history game, not even story game. It's just, hey, wanna learn something about a good author? Here you go. Love it.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
I wonder if that's a reference to in the shadow of the Mountain of Madness or something. I don't remember the exact title, but at the top of the Mountain of Madness, maybe. Something about the Mountain of Madness.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
Fair enough.
And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
It's a beautiful game.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Okay, so this music. Oh, the loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever-frowning, eccentric, grumpy loner. He considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. At times, his social life was so intensive, his work would suffer for months. There was a point when he finally decided he needed to put an end to daily meetings and loitering in New York cafeterias, and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked on his door. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathrobe, with an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of paper scattered across the floor. So basically, oh god, that is like, he probably had ADHD, like, He probably had this type of ADHD because he seemed to be like, if this is accurate to stuff, which I think it is, like I think most of this stuff is accurate and actual facts. With the way he is hyper, I feel that energy. I'm not the biggest human person, but I think H.P. Lovecraft definitely must have had like ADHD or something. Like, he seemed to have that attitude that most people with ADHD have. Like, go get him attitude, and when, like, maybe a bit of autism. Because a trait of autism is, if they like something, they're uber focused. Like, they have this uber focused thing. Like, it can also just be that the person was uber focused and energetic, as it is, but sometimes it could, like, you know, I wonder if he had ADHD. It would not surprise me whatsoever.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
Oh my god, this looks amazing.
I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Oh, felt that in the stomach.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
Okay, so on a momento here, just doing a thing.
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
So we have a little bit of Satan in here.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
I still haven't found anything up in the sky, which surprises me. Come on. Okay, so let's go then.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
I don't trust this, but go ahead,
Whilst
sure.
after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
I'm just gonna double check here. Nothing? Okay. I'm keeping an eye out for story stuff, like I will need to.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated.
We need to be fucking deep
All
down.
at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
That voice, though. Please read me a bedtime story, sir. I don't know who you are and where you're from, but please read me a bedtime story with that deep voice of yours. Kind of jealous. Gonna be honest here. Kind of fucking jealous. I wish I also had a nice, deep, rumbly voice. I have a very high-pitched voice for a guy, so... nothing to complain about, but like... if I could be able to fucking read books or like audio stuff...
It was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Sorry. Okay, now then. Let's see. I'm sorry, I am, like always, a little bit out of it. I know.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
Always a monolith. I had a feeling that was a monolith. I did not want to say anything because I would have looked dumber. But yeah, I think I like saw that it was kind of a monolith. So I'm very happy it is.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Yeah. Like, if I just... mouth. Diarrhea again. Fucking flies. But yeah, I've always thought of that. Like, what if, let's say, someone is gonna build some new amazing thing in the middle of the ocean, like, they are gonna build a, not build an island, but like build some Bioshock level shit, like an underwater hotel or underwater resort. And they go down there and somehow they manage to empty a pocket of the ocean. I don't know how the fuck they would do that, but like, you know, they just open up this big thing and or like empty a part of the ocean in a way. And we just find an object that is too sharp to be made by the ocean. How would we humans actually react? What would be our first thought? Would it be aliens? Would it be unexplained phenomenon, randomness? Or would it be like, how many people think H.P. Lovecraft? Because of H.P. Lovecraft stuff. Like, I would definitely, if someone was like, oh yeah, there is a human-shaped object that is too old to be made by human tools that we know about right now. Like, it's on the obvious signs that someone has shipped it with hammer and stuff. I would be 100% like, okay, that it's a cult. Or like, I am a believer in many things. I actually have a, like, kind of shared philosophy with H.P. Lovecraft. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I'm sorry.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
We have a rock, we have walls, and we have a monolith. Check. But do we have a... No. Okay, so let's go towards it. I hope I don't miss anything.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Ooh.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith.
What is a Cyclopean monolith, specifically? Probably gonna search it up.
On whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
What do you mean crude? That's better than I would do. Oh wait, before we check that... Oh, come on. You should have... They should have hidden, like... At least that symbol on this thing, you know? No, nothing, really. Come on, you missed an opportunity there, game. Unless I am missing it. Oh, please don't let me miss anything. Let me please not miss anything.
Was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
A lot of sea stuff, so once again, love it.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
Wait. Okay. Storytelling methods. I don't know why, but for some reason a text skipped there. I hope I didn't miss anything important there. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings. At the Mountains of Madness, there we have it, at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals and characters notes, the shadows of Out of Time, the Hunter of the Dark, islands emerging from the ocean, the Call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies, Me Go in the Whispers in Darkness. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraftian's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. God damn it. That's a tease and a half.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a Doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Okay, so you all see the little thing in the bottom that looks like an egg under this fucking rectangular thing, or whatever the fuck it's called now again. It looks, that thing about under it that looks like an egg with eyes, that looks like the Behemoth from Berserk. That was my first thought. Behemoth Berserk.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
That definitely reminds me of Berserk. The four fingers of whatever. Oh god. The God Hand. There were four of them. Four there. Fifth one was Griffith. Berserk reference? No, well, obviously H.P. Lovecraft came first, so I don't fucking know what I'm going with this. I just see a lot of similarities, and I love it.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
I love it.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
I mean, that could be fucking fair, you know? Oh. The Piltdown Man. Cosmic Horror Scholar. Yay, got an achievement. Lovecraft would often use the latest scientific discoveries as inspiration for his works. He would even update his stories at the last moment in order to make sure they reflected the latest breakthroughs. Unfortunately, this method was not without its flaws. After Lovecraft's death, the Piltdown Man discovery mentioned in Dagon turned out to be a paleanthropological fraud, or however the fuck you say that. In 1912, Charles Dawson, an amateur archaeologist, announced that he had discovered a missing link between ape and man, the fossil remains of a previously unknown early human. Years later, they turned out to be a forgery, but by that point, the fraud had already managed to negatively affect the early research on human evolution. In the year when the discovery took place, the majority of the scientific community believed Dawson indeed found the missing link. In 1953, Time magazine published evidence proving that Dawson was a con man. It turned out that the fossils of the previously unknown early human consisted of a human skull, the jaw of an orangutan, and a chimpanzee's teeth. Well, crap.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it. With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
That jump scared me.
I think I went mad then.
That's fair. That is one of the main things with H.P. Lovecraft. Whenever you see Cthulhu, Dagon, Mother Hydra, you will go insane because of how they look, how your mind can't comprehend what it sees. You would go mental and like.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Yeah, I don't think I will find any extras, but I'm still gonna keep an eye
I
out.
believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Wait, why would you be singing? Oh, there we go. Jesus Christ, I'm dumb. I was like, why can't I do anything? And then I remembered, oh yeah, wait, I need to...
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard peals of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
I feel like I should have switched up. I do hope you can hear him. I can kind of hear him.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
That was a sneaky one. The atheist. Lovecraft considered himself an atheist and absolute materialist, which he attributed partly to his early childhood interest in astronomy and science in general. In his own words, "I am indeed an absolute materialist, so far as actual belief goes, with no shred of credence in any form of supernaturalism, religion, spiritualism, transcendentalism, metapsychosis, or immortality." Okay. All I say is that I think it's damned unlikely that anything like a central cosmic will, a spirit world, or an eternal survival of personalities exist. They are the most preposterous and unjustified of all the guesses which can be made about the universe, and I am not enough of a hair splitter to pretend that I don't regard them as errant and neglectable moonshine. In theory, I am an agnostic, but pending the appearance of radical evidence, I must be classed, practically and provisionally, as an atheist. That was a lot of words I read. I don't understand shit. I'm sorry. Sources: Against Religion, the Atheist Writings of H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft. Mythos: The Myths and Tales of H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard. H.P. Lovecraft, and yeah, okay. Well, that's fair. I know that he was an atheist, but he had his kind of own religion, I guess.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. He also appeared as the Judge of the Dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word Dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon, which is the cult that you find in Shadows over Innsmouth and the movie Dagon, which is a solid movie, to be honest. It's a weird one, but it's a solid movie. I would definitely recommend the Dagon movie. It is a very, very good movie.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
The Necronomicon. Oh, 2 things? The Marketeer. Oh, we have more stuff to read. Yay, I'm sorry if I'm butchering 50% of the words. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends, among others. He started freelancing for a marketing magazine, where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. from an ad for Curtis Woodwork. Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances, I don't know, of built-in or permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship, which an energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and the trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. Source: Lovecraft Studies, Volume 7, Number 1, H.P. Lovecraft, St. Josh. I am sorry if I'm butchering everything here. I have never been a good reader, at least not reading out loud. But I'm trying my best, damn it. The Necronomicon. August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works, after his death he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horrors. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Yeah, he was an author. Like, pop culture is a weird thing, to be honest here. But I'm still very happy that the Cthulhu mythos exists. I am not very good at understanding mythoses and stuff like that, but I am very happy that H.P. Lovecraft stuff actually exists. Because I have currently free reign around here. I'm gonna go to the clock, okay. Oh god, okay, so if I turn around too fast, it's like just a spin around, okay. Was that free? Okay, I'm gonna trust my gut's instinct to say that probably isn't everything, but you know, please, something more, please. I'm not gonna. Come on. Wait, what? Oh, the scientist. I probably missed something back there then. Oh, goddammit. These days the word scientist is a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to a wide debate. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted in defense of Dagon that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use the phrase they suggested. Scientist was coined as an analog to artists, to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science, yet in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna go into that, to be honest, so let's stop that. Can I click on anything else? Click. Can I click on this lovely lady here? Can I click on that? No, there, no, there, no, there. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, okay, to the door.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now, I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Okay, so I didn't miss. Okay, this was the one I missed. Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Okay, so we get a bit of lecture on that kind of stuff. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friends Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Celia Brown, dated 13th February 1928. For the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. The spirit of revision, Lovecraft's letter to... Okay, so he was a nykterist, säger vi på svenska. Like, in Swedish we say nykterist. It's basically like he's against alcohol. He just don't drink. Which is fair. So I assume this is gonna be the end, and that will also be the end of the stream, but yeah, let's just...
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium. The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it. It shall not find me. God, that hand!
Oh my god. Yeah, okay, so that was the end. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in the pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. I'm gonna leave feedback as soon as I don't. Okay, there. Okay, we will take the screen then. So yeah, that was Dagon. Oh my god, I loved it. I hope I will get money soon enough, because I will definitely buy the DLCs. I need more of this. I love this. But I hope everyone enjoyed this, and everyone who watched the VOD. I hope you also will enjoy. This game is free currently, without, well, except the DLCs. But Dagon is a free game on Steam, so if you just search it up and download it, it's a free game. You can just go and get this and play it for yourself. And just, you know, even though I have played it and you've seen maybe most of this, it's an amazing game, and if you like it, just play it for yourself, try to immerse yourself in it in your own way without someone talking badly like I do. I can barely read, fucking hell. But yes. Anyways, that will be it for this stream. I may stream again. I'm not gonna promise anything, but I may stream again today or like some other day this week. We will see. I hope I have the energy and the mental capacity for it. In any case, thank you so much for coming out, and I hope if you liked what you saw, please consider like following. It would be super fun to have you here in the beer den, where we try to have fun and share good energy. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one.